Hello and welcome back. We are joined by Ajaita Shah, who is the CEO of the Frontier Markets. It is so great to have you here at Sidebar.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, to start out, climate change is a global challenge. We've been talking a lot about what's happening in the U.S., what we can be doing here, but ultimately we have this global south that's developing that will become a growing challenge as they continue to deploy their own energy resources, develop their economy. What's the magnitude of this challenge?
So when we look at the global south, we need to understand that we're talking about billions of people, right? India itself is 1.43 billion people. And as we look at the reality of while the global south today is not contributing as much as the global north when it comes to carbon emissions, it takes one switch, right, to have a billion people that are aspiring and changing to actually start consuming the same way that you and I do sitting in America. And if that happens, everything changes, right? We're talking about degree changes in a very big way. Why it's a larger challenge also, though, is one of the things that we've learned is that the connectedness of people, given the pandemic, is a real thing. So while the global south is not contributing to carbon, they're suffering the most when it comes to climate change, right? India alone, in the last 1 year, dealt with cyclones, floods, droughts, locust attacks, while also dealing with the COVID pandemic, right? So when we're thinking about the vulnerability and the reality, we need to understand that actually the conversation needs to be about the global south. How do we ensure that we can help them mitigate these challenges, but also how do we make sure that we help them adapt in a better practice so that we don't actually contribute to that degree change that everyone's worried about?
For sure. Also understand that empowering women is a big part of your work. Can you share about how the power of women will be a response to the climate crisis? How making sure that women have power helps?
I love that you said women have power, not empower, because we're done with the empower. It's about powering women, people. So I think the biggest lesson that I have is that we've been working with rural women in India who essentially, again, are the center as farmers, as mothers, as community enablers, dealing with the climate crisis directly. But they're also ready and angry enough to want to be the change makers, right? So women are community enablers, they're influencers, they're ready to be climate solvers. So what we've seen is that by investing in women and giving them the right technology, the right ability, they actually want to be the ones that are saying, hey, do I bring in climate resilient seeds? Do I need to change my farming practices and do organic farming? What can I do as a woman to actually be the change maker to ensure that climate vulnerabilities shift? And so what we've seen is that if you look at this in India's context, 100 million women are farmers that are ready to make that change. The critical nexus is for us to power them and really be able to invest in their ability to be that change maker, and they're ready to adapt in a very significant way.
Can you give us an example of the work that you're doing to help drive this forward?
So Frontier Markets, we essentially have created a social commerce platform. So imagine like impact-oriented Amazon solution, right? But into rural India, where our women entrepreneurs are using our technology to connect rural families to all kinds of high-impact solutions, whether it's climate-friendly appliances, solar products, to agri-inputs, et cetera. The critical nexus has been that women are using the technology to collect data on understanding who the rural households are. And then through that, we're connecting market solutions. So today we have 20,000 women entrepreneurs who have been helping 1 million families get access to almost 50 million carbon-friendly solutions in clean energy products and agri, digital financial services, healthcare. So what we see is that in India only, you're talking about 80 million women that are like our entrepreneurs. So there's a huge opportunity to invest in 1 million women to reach 100 million families. And that's actually what we're now set out to do as a company.
Is it challenging to engage those communities that may not have previously really been aware or involved in these types of solutions?
So what's exciting is that rural India has changed quite drastically. You have internet connectivity, you have smartphones, you have better understanding of the aspirational outlook. So when we come in, it's actually women going, why didn't you come sooner? We want jobs, we want income, we want to be influencers, and we also need stuff. So come in quicker. So we've actually partnered now with about 4 governments and reaching out to already close to 40 million families to be able to just bring these solutions faster. So what I think is interesting for everyone to know is that when we think of rural India, when we think of women, we go, oh, like they might not know stuff, they might not understand how to adapt. And, that's changed so drastically. You have women saying, give me a job, give me a smartphone, give me an ability, give me money, and I'll make changes happen for you. How might I be your solution creator? Because I know what works and I know how to make it happen.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Well, we look forward to hearing more from you on the main stage today. Thank you so much for joining us on Sidebar.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Yeah.
That was great. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.